Good morning, good afternoon, good night, whenever you're watching this. I sound like a TV presenter then, didn't I? This is a different video to what you're probably used to. So my channel's obviously got all van life and events and travel. But like I said in a couple of videos ago, I do have a life at home. And this week my son had... What is going on with this piece of hair? It's driving me mad. This week my son has spinal surgery. And so I thought I would film my journey on this rather than his journey. Obviously I'll share with you updates, but I obviously also at the same time want to respect his privacy. So I thought I would film something that is from my point of view on how that might be for the parent of said child. And we are now preparing for Thursday morning. We need to be in the hospital at 7 AM. Demi's obviously going to be looked after at home, so I need to make sure that I've got everything. Well, there's safe foods. Demi is autistic, so she requires we have a lot of safe foods. So if other foods aren't working, we've got foods that, you know, can be fallen back on. I'm also preparing a snack bag because the hospital have said that although they provide you 3 meals a day, you know, you might not feel like eating at that time, especially my son, you know, coming out of such major surgery. So to take snacks, and I am the queen of snacks. What a stressful morning. 5 AM start to be here for 7 AM. The room is lovely. It's a private hospital. We've got a private ensuite. The menus are very fancy. Very lucky, very fortunate. And also very lucky to hear that Reece is also going in first. So that means that it's a big rush this morning because he'll need to be, it's now 7:20. They want him in theatre by 8 AM. So it's just going to get changed now. And then the doctor will come in, the anaesthetist will come in, and within 40 minutes we should be going, not down, we're going up this time, ready for the surgery. You know you're getting old and you have to keep scrolling to get your date of birth. I've been scrolling for 10 years now. It's 8:20. They are very quick, bish bash bosh, in, you know, get it done. I went into the anaesthetic room with him. People in there were really lovely, really good with him, keeping him distracted. So yeah, he's asleep and he's now going to be having his surgery. So the surgery involves, so basically they cut down the middle of the spine and then they will basically they're going to insert some screws and then they put a bar in, tighten up, you know, manipulating it into place, tighten it all up so that they can get it as straight as they think that they can get it down to about 10 to 20 degrees. It's currently at around 60 to 70 degrees. So that's a significant difference. It will be unnoticeable. So 10 to 20 degrees is the curvature that my daughter has, and my daughter also has scoliosis, so I'll have to go through all of this again. Oh, thank you.
As and when I hear anything, I'll come and let you know.
I appreciate that.
I don't expect to hear anything for quite a few hours.
Yeah, that's fine.
So it's easy enough to say don't panic, but don't panic.
The nurses here are lovely. She just brought me coffee. The scoliosis surgery takes can take up to 7 hours. However, the surgeons think that they'll have him back in recovery by about 1 o'clock. Look at the dessert options. For adults, yogurt, flapjack, jelly. Look at the dessert options for kids. Ice cream, chocolate brownie. How come kids get all the good stuff? What chocolate? It's 10:30. I've been doing some editing. I'm kind of struggling getting into it actually. But there is one downside to a private hospital, is they don't actually have somewhere you can go to get food and drink. They've got a coffee machine downstairs in the reception, which is free, but it doesn't really get changed often. So you go down and you often just get a cup of like really watery coffee. And obviously I don't want to keep nagging the nurses because I drink a lot of coffee, so I don't really want to go and ask again. Hello, is he ready for me? 9:15 p.m. I've only just had the opportunity to actually get on here. So I'm hiding in the bathroom because my son's asleep and I don't want to wake him up. He's in too much pain. He was in surgery for around 5 hours and everything went absolutely fine. In recovery, I had a bit of a shock. So with an anaesthetic, sometimes children or adults can wake up a little bit confused and disorientated. And I didn't expect that would be the case for my son because he's had anaesthetic before for operation and we didn't have that effect. However, this time we did. It was very hard. I think that might have been the hardest thing I've ever had to do. To hear him so distressed and so confused and disorientated, he didn't know what was going on. But that soon passed. I think it's worth mentioning because obviously if you've not experienced this before, I think it's worth going into the recovery room and to expect that things might not be, he might not just be sleepy, they might not just be sleepy, they might actually be a bit dazed, confused and might say some things that can really, as a parent, really tug on your heartstrings, you know, and I felt so desperately helpless. But I just wanted to help him and I couldn't do anything, and I think that's the hardest thing I've ever had to do. He's been having antibiotics pumped into him, he's got a little button, he presses for morphine when he's feeling in pain, and getting into positions really difficult, he's getting experiencing a lot of sickness and nausea. Really, we're just trying our best to keep him comfortable at the moment. So on day 2, Reece has had all of his tubes and everything removed now, so he's only got cannulas in. He's gone on to oral medication rather than just, you know, the drips, and they're now washing him, so I've come down for 15 minutes to give him his privacy, and then we're going to attempt to get him to stand up. And yeah, it's going to cause him pain, that there's no doubt about that, but it was a rough night. I'm exhausted. It was like having a newborn baby again, but it'll all be worth it in the end, won't it? So it's lunchtime, and me and Reece were living our best lives. We've got homemade tomato soup with crunchy dippy bread, and it also turns out that I could actually order off the kids menu, which I'm really pleased about because I didn't want none of the fancy desserts. So you're not in hospital unless you have jelly and ice cream, are you? Let's be honest.
Oh. No, you don't need us.
Yeah.
Good morning. It's now day 3. Today was really rough. This morning I had no hope. I literally had no hope. I thought there's no way that he's going to be able to come home on Monday. Absolutely not, because we couldn't get him out of bed. How could he get into a car, let alone, you know, into a wheelchair? I think it's also worth mentioning as well that if you're coming in for this surgery and you see the nurses have been a little bit strict with your child, it is a good idea to take a step back and allow them, because they know what they're doing. It was the most hardest thing in the world was watching the nurses sort of say, no, this really needs to be done, and then to see how much pain your child's in is hard. I was on the edge of my seat trying to fight back the tears, but they did say afterwards, one of the nurses in particular, he said, you know, appreciate the fact that I stepped back and allowed them to do what they had to do, because a lot of parents can sometimes say, look, can you give them some more pain relief before you do this and whatnot, but the idea is that they need to move to work those new muscles, because those new muscles, they have not been used properly before, and so they need to move, they need to work, and the muscles are going to be screaming out like, what the hell is this? But they need it. So this morning he was stuck in bed, couldn't do it. The nurses came in, and with half an hour managed to get him up. So he got up, he went and sat down in a chair, and he actually found that the chair was much more comfortable than lying down in bed. So he sat in the chair for a little while. They then got him showered, and he's all fresh and clean and ready to rock on the day, but it has exhausted him. The pain has made him sick. But that is normal and to be expected. So now he's in bed, he's having a lay down. I've got Mevi and Demi's coming to visit today, his little sister, and they're bringing a McDonald's, so I'm hoping a glass of milk doesn't brighten up his spirits.
And push your bottom.
Sundays in a private hospital. It's very spooky. It's so quiet. It's so, I don't know the rest of the words. Not entirely sure how I'm going to get back up because there's no one here to let me in. So I think I might be stuck down here forever.